am live. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. This is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley, and I just want to welcome you and thank you for your time today. As always, it's always a pleasure to be before you and to see how I can best support you as we talk about advancing in adversity. And how was your day today? I'm trying to check you out because I was on a live stream the other day, not mine. Because, see, what I do is when I'm doing these live streams, when you are manning everything on your own, you got to have your trusty phone nearby to see how it is live streaming. I tell you the truth. When it comes to that live streaming stuff, um, the sister got a problem with that. So that said, I want to make sure that this is streaming well. I'm streaming live through via Facebook. All right. And looks like everything is coming along just fine from what I can see. So just wanted to say, hey, see how you're doing. Please put in the comment section, how was your day today? Put a 1 in the comment section if all has been well, you had a great day today. Put a 2 in the comment section if it was a so-so day. And if so, if you feel open to share with all of us watching, talk about it. What made your day a so-so day? That said, I want to make sure that, can you hear me? So if you had a so-so day, put it in the comment section, put a 2. And then really, I'm interested in knowing, how do you plan to move that 2 to a 1? What can you do differently to get a different result tomorrow? So that said, let's talk about what's in the news. Danny, my co-host, is off today. So I'm not going to be before you long. I think I may have mentioned this before to you. If anytime someone says they're not going to be before you long, that it means that they may be before you longer. So I will try my best to not be before you long. I just really wanted to check in with you and talk about today in advancing in adversity. I'm really interested in knowing, how do we now advance in the midst of calamity, in the midst of confusion? Because it's so much noise that's going on everywhere. And not to say or to downplay or dismiss anything that's happening, because apparently everything that's going on right now is needed. It had to happen. It's just that when it becomes so noisy for you, and it gets to a place where it's impacting your day-to-day functioning, when it's impacting your mental health, when it's impacting your focus, when it's impacting just wanting to be involved and be in the know with everything, when it just becomes too much and too overwhelming, and that you find yourself shutting down or receding or backing up, then that means that you need to regain control, because there's no victimization here. You're allowing everything outside of yourself to consume you and take over you. Rather, put yourself in position to regain control by the following. Before I go there, I really want to ask, what's in the news today? Because Danny, my co-host, we normally do the news. Now, the latest news that's going on at this time of the recording is the whole thing with Quaker Oats, owned by Pepsi, in regards to changing the name, the face, and the brand of Aunt Jemima. And I really wanted to hear, I already shared it on my post throughout the day. It seemed like there's a debate going on. Now we're focusing on changing the name of Aunt Jemima, who's been around, that brand been around for what, over 139 years or something like that? And wanted to know, what were your thoughts about that? Does it matter to you if they change the name? Does it matter to you if they change the brand? Talk back to me. Put it in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Do we need to concern ourselves with the brand and the name changing? From what was shared on my post today, you have some who said that, you know what, that's a step in the right direction. It's about time. But then others, like myself, was like, why are we focused on that when there's bigger fish to fry? Like, why are we focused on that right now? And one person said it great. I'm going to shout you out, Barrett Matthews. Thank you for, sharing this. He was like, you know what? Is it about the bottom line? Is it about the dollars? Is it about, satisfying their consciousness? What do you think? Put it in the comment section. I would love to hear it. Okay. But for me, my attitude is that's like a byproduct. It's almost as if like that's going to be taken care of as we take care of the bigger issues. And by that, moving right along, in the same vein of that, someone had made mention, you may have heard of Candace Owens. And so someone had decided to, I do not own the rights to it. That wasn't me, y'all. It wasn't me. I don't even want to say I'm the messenger. Someone sent it to me. But they were like, they put her face on there, called it Aunt Candace. But neither here or there. The fact remains is, what is the bigger focus and the issue? And because of all the noise that's going on in the marketplace, all the noise that's going on in America, rightfully so, because it's not like this all just came about all of a sudden. This all are happening for a reason. My focus and concern is your mental health, your mental wellness, your stability. So that said, what do we do when advancing in adversity? How do we now maintain ourselves in the midst of confusion? Here are a couple of tips that you can do. One, first and foremost, decide. I'm going to always repeat that. Decide. Decide how you want to be and how you want to show up and how you want to become after all of this either dies down or resolve. You have to make it a point. You have to make a decision before anything else. How can you create or make something happen if you didn't even make the decision to make things happen? So decide, how do you want this to play out for yourself? How do you want to become after this? How do you want to show up right now during the midst of confusion, calamity, the noise? When you decide, it will move you right along to how do you plan to maintain your mental health, your mental wellness, your mental well-being, your well-being. What will happen is you're going to find yourself deciding to what you're going to tune to, what information you're going to seek after, and what are you going to do to preserve your consumption. Like monitoring and managing what you will allow in your psyche, through your eyes, through your ears, and even through your mouth. You're going to be more cognizant of what you are doing to maintain yourself. When you first decide how you want to show up, how you want to be after this is over, whether it's resolved or it dies down. You do not want to be in a place where this is taking you over and you're overtaken by it. Rather, you make the decision that you're going to regain control. And you do that by first deciding. Then secondly, it's going to move you on what you are consuming, what you are allowing. Because again, you may have this thing like something that I have struggled with in regards to missing out, but then that goes back to what we talked about many times in regards to your perspective, your perception, your view. You have to shift your perspective and your perception. Do not focus on what you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you want to see happen as a result, not what is happening right now that you don't like. Talking to a client today, we were having this conversation about, she kept asking me, well, Dr. Langley, I suffer with anxiety. I suffer with panic attacks, and I don't know how to handle this. And throughout our time together, I've given her tips and strategies on how to help and alleviate the symptoms and the emotional and mental disturbances that brings about from anxiety, from panic attacks. And yet, even with those tips and tools, she still finds herself not feeling good still, right? And that's understandable. Who wants to suffer? Who wants to be in pain? Who wants to panic? Who wants to have anxiety? None of us, right? Here's a tip for you. If you do suffer or struggle with anxiety or panic attacks, again, you have to control and regulate what you can control and regulate. It's always great to manage your mood and your breathing. Oftentimes, we don't breathe enough. So we have to get into a place to employ breathing exercises and breathing techniques to help you to regulate and to stabilize your mood. Get that oxygen in your brain. From there, you first stop the bleeding. That's pretty much what it is. You're going to regulate your physical state. Then from there, you have to identify what are those thoughts, those unspoken rules that I talk about in therapy, in my classes and courses that I offer. I talk about the unspoken rules. How do you now identify with the unspoken rules that's in your mind? Because those are subconscious and it's triggering your behavior. It's triggering the way that you handle and manage things. It triggers how you react. But you have to, in order for you to actually really stabilize and regulate that, you have to identify what they are. How do you do that? How do you get to your subconscious mindset and bring it to consciousness? As always, paying attention to yourself, paying attention to how you think, how you feel, how you behave, how you react. How do you do that? You take time. I always suggest first thing in the morning is always best so that you can prepare yourself for later on throughout the day. It's like charging yourself up, just like how we put gas in the car or we charging batteries overnight so that they could be really fully charged for us to use them. We're the same way. We have to treat ourselves as such. First thing in the morning, I strongly recommend that you make the time to do affirmations, to do mindfulness techniques, to pray, to meditate, so that you can shift your focus. First of all, you're getting in control of yourself. So that's always a win. That always makes you feel good when you are in control of what you can control. And then from there, it also empowers you and motivates you. And you will find a difference in your energy, in your vibration, that you're going to attract more of the same throughout the day. When challenges come your way, you will be surprised at how you are able to handle and manage them effectively and differently. Otherwise, than before, when you have yet to, make time for yourself in the morning to prepare yourself throughout the day. So I want you to do that as a test. Try it for yourself. If you're not doing it already, I highly recommend that you take the time to regulate your mood, regulate your breathing, stabilize your physical state by way of meditation, affirmations, gratitude, appreciation, being grateful for what is today for you. The fact that you're here watching right now, hey, be grateful and thankful that you're able to see. You're still here. We tend to look at the negative things. It's like just automatic, right? Again, that's why we have to find out what are our underlying core issues and thoughts that are really driving everything. And I already talked about that and how you bring it to conscious state. It's in the subconscious. So you got to bring it to conscious state. You do that by first thing in the morning every day. I'm going to challenge you. Do it for 7 days. Talk back to me. Let me know how it went for you. Till you can do kind of like an A/B split test. Like you can, kind of test between how you are, how have you been before employing these tips and strategies in regards to mood regulation, physical state stability, breathing exercises, and then see if it makes a difference in your day. But I would really encourage you to first make the time for yourself before you do anything, before you get on Facebook, before you grab your phone to check out what's going on because you're being nosy. You're not going to miss out on anything. You're going to always know what's going on. You're going to always be in the know. So that's one automatic thought that comes up. We think we're going to miss out. We think we're going to not be in the know. And we're going to be got. We're going to be had. We're going to be hoodwinked. We're going to be taken advantage of, and we're not going to know what to do. But rather, all those are automatic thoughts, by the way. Those are in your subconscious subconscious mind. So when you now identify with those thoughts of what they are, then it puts you in a position to replace them. So let's back up. First of all, hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Patrick, for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you, Denise, and really appreciate you tuning in today. Much love to you all. So what we're talking about, I want to help you to know how to advance in adversity, right? By way of what do you do when confusion, calamity are happening in your life? How do you still maintain? How do you still advance in, regardless of what's going on around you, the noise or, the confusion? Here's how you do it. You first decide, do you want to be in control of what you can control, or do you not want to be in control of what you cannot control? Do you want to control yourself? Do you want to control or regain control? If you found yourself in a place where you have lost control, it does not mean that you cannot get your control back. If you had it before, you can have it again. So that's one great tip that I'm giving you in that respect, how you replace the negative thinking with the positive one. Tell yourself that you are in control of what you can control and that you can regain control. You had it before, you can have it again. Then from there, once you decide and asking yourself the questions, who do I want to be during this time? Who do I want to become after this time? How is this showing up in my life? Like, how is this working for me? What's going on? Ask yourself those questions. It's okay to ask and it's okay to answer back. I will not call you crazy, okay? Then from there, if you find that what's going on in the world today is impacting your day-to-day functioning, if it's having you to feel depressed, anxious, worried, uncertain, and it's impacting your day-to-day in terms of working, in terms of interacting and engaging, socializing, taking care of your daily living skills. If you can't, manage your money, you can't take care of your children, if it's really impacting you in so many different ways, then that's when it is time to see a therapist like myself. Whether it's myself or any of my colleagues that I can recommend you to, so that you can now, which is a strength, by the way, when you have decided and you accept and you admit that there is a concern that needs to be addressed, that you can't do this by yourself and you're not alone. It's okay, especially around this time. It is okay to seek mental health services. Or let me take the mental health out, mental wellness care and self-support, okay? Or mental health care and support. It's okay to have that. So if it is impacting you like that, then you need to, see us, check us out, inbox me. More than happy to help you. If you decide not to, and you want to figure out how you can manage and control or regain control, even if it's impacting your day-to-day functioning, then you regulate your mood. We call it stopping the bleeding. That's first and foremost. When I was talking about my client, she was so, every day, I think she's at a place where she wants to just get rid of the anxiety. And it just doesn't go away like that just by some 1, 2, 3 steps. Because everything is mental. It's hitting the mentality. And you have to, which takes it's a technique and skill that cannot be done by an untrained person. You would actually need therapy, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, which I do, to help yourself out. So, but the best thing that you can do, if you're going to be stubborn and not check us out or not seek therapy, yes, I'm putting some shade out there. Regulate your mood. Regulate your mood first. Then from there, start replacing or identifying the thoughts. You can also, on your own, you can write and journal, because you'll be amazed in journaling how effective it is, because you're able to channel the thoughts and the feelings that you're having, that's in your mind and in your heart, that is otherwise impacting and controlling you. When we hit pen to paper or pencil to paper, you'll be surprised at how much you actually free associate. And free associate just means no holds barred, this, whatever comes to mind, you're putting it on paper. You're hitting your subconscious when you do that. Because you'll say, wow, this doesn't make any sense. I'm writing this stuff down. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's not about it making sense. It's really about getting it out and seeing the difference of how your behavior, your mood, your attitude will become after you have channeled that thought and energy and feeling onto paper. You probably say things that you never otherwise have said before verbally. You may say it on paper, because now you're free, without worry or guilt, to really express yourself on paper. So I would encourage you to journal. And then after all of that, then it's just a matter of daily practice, repetition. See, you became the way that you became. Again, it's just second nature, it's just habitual to first negatively think of things. And we do that because we're trying to now either avoid, we're trying to punish ourselves without realizing it, and how we're telling our subconscious mind that we are deserving of punishment. It's ever a wonder why many people are challenged with self-esteem and challenged with their self-image because of how they feel about themselves, whether it's self-loathing, self-hatred. It's just amazing that happens. But just how that was learned, it can be unlearned. And I think that it's really high time, while we're trying to take care of everything else outside of ourselves, we need to bring it back to self. We need to first check ourselves and make sure that we are a whole, healthy self, without limit or without limitations, without guilt, without apology. It's time for us to come back to first beginnings of coming to know who we are. From there, you'll be amazed, as I've been saying that throughout the whole time, you'll be so pleasantly surprised and amazed of what a difference it makes in your life and your energy and your attitude and your mood and your behavior and your interaction and your engagement and your money, and what you do when you first decide to come to know who you are and start working on yourself. A lot of times we don't want to, because it may be some deep-seated issues and wounds that we have, but it's never going to go away by just avoiding. It's never going to go away by just deflecting and acting as if it doesn't exist. It exists. So you need to make the time to check in with yourself. If you are trying to work it out on your own, I strongly recommend that you make the morning, give yourself some time, because that will tell your subconsciousness that you are worth it, you are important, you are deserving of this time, you are valuable. To, before anything else, give yourself that time first. You make time between 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all as a start. You don't have to now put in an hour if you are not used to doing an hour for yourself. Start small. Start somewhere. And you start at the right where. Start 5 minutes to 10 minutes a day. First thing in the morning. Prayer, meditation, affirmations, breathing exercises to regulate your mood, to put you in that position, in that posture, and that mindset that you are in control. That's subconsciously telling yourself that you are in control when you're able to regulate yourself from doing anything else other than focusing on you. Journal. You can write. If you have things to write first thing in the morning, you can do that. And write out your day. What do you want to see your day to become? It is a powerful thing when we write the vision and make it plain, when we're able to talk about what we want to see happen in the day. And then give yourself that grace and extend that courtesy to yourself to see things unfold. Believe that it will unfold. Because how we actually, the way that we are, as human nature will have it, regarding how we think negatively first. It seems like when, we're about to do something, we're so hopeful, but yet we have an expectation subconsciously that it's not going to work out, or it may not work out because we're trying to buffer the fall. We're trying to break our fall just in case it doesn't happen. We won't be as disappointed or devastated, but that doesn't work anyway. Even when we have at our, with our best intentions, we're trying to make sure that we are okay if in case things do not work out. But then we beat ourselves up. We criticize ourselves. I'm telling y'all from experience, because I have always been, my God, I was the queen of self-criticism. I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to, make sure that I had, had my I's dotted and my T's crossed before I do anything. And I tell you, Denise, I tell you, April, and I thank you for tuning in, April. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this conversation. Y'all can always share and talk back to me. Put in the comment section any questions or comments you have. Please feel free to share. But I tell you the truth, I have learned today. I have learned how, with criticism, with trying to be perfect, with trying to be or feel successful or seem or look successful, trying to please everyone, it was at a deficit and a loss to myself. I was starting to be at a place where I didn't know who I was. I was losing myself. And it had to come down to this, letting life just be. Again, the negativity that we think, we have this mindset negatively. We first try to look at things from a negative standpoint, thinking that that's going to help us in the long run, but it doesn't, because it's training your subconsciousness to think a certain way about yourself and about situations, about life. And then it's supplemented with what goes on in the world. You're going to find things that's going to support your stance. That's how it works. That's why this narrative, what's going on right now, while it needed to happen, I'm not talking about anyone's death. It was unfortunate. It is tragic. But what led up after that, all of this was going to happen. It was bound to happen the way that it's playing out. For those, though, who struggle with anxiety and depression, because of the mindset and how it is and what those unspoken thoughts and rules are, you're going to look and find, unbeknownst to you, you're going to look and find for things that's going to justify your anxiety and depression. It's going to keep you in that narrative. So what we have to do is introduce you to a different way of thinking. It's called reframe. Reframing just means looking at it differently. Shift your mindset. Make a decision that you want to see different, you want to have different, you want to become different in this situation. Nothing will change until you change first. When you change, everything else around you changes. That's truth. After all of that, regulating your mood, maintaining stability, bringing yourself into a physical, stabilized state, identify the thoughts, journal. Already talked about breathing. We talked about affirmations. We talked about meditation. We talked about all of that. Then after all of that, you now do it in repetition. Because respectfully and honestly, that's exactly how you have been before all of this. Meaning that if you have a negative attitude, you don't like it, it didn't happen overnight. Circumstances, situations, experience, conclusions, something that was patterned after, something that you have was exposed to, all play part to shaping, conditioning, programming your mindset today. That took time, slowly and surely. Isn't that the truth? In regards to, hey Charles, hey everybody, thank you for tuning in, much appreciated. Isn't that the truth though? Because have we not all seen that video? I tell you the truth. So I saw this video on LinkedIn where it was like this little white boy, little black boy. You know, they were so excited. They were so happy. They were just like, yay! They were running to each other. It was so beautiful. They hugged each other. They were so excited. And then the little black boy ran ahead of the little white boy. You know, they were just having a great time. It was so awesome. I tell you the truth, they look like the same little white boy and little black boy that I seen when I was 3 years old, when I was their age. You know, I remember this this commercial of a little white boy. I think he had like, it's like, I don't know, like it was like not really blonde. I don't know if they call it like dirty blondish hair. And I think I pictured like a green shirt on him, little black boy, and I think he had like a tan shirt on, whatever, like a little tan button shirt on, and they were hugging each other. And I guess the commercial said something along the lines that, you know, that pretty much they don't see any color. You know, I don't recall if it said it exactly that way, but nevertheless, that happened when like 40 years ago. I remember seeing that same video. What is my point? Those kids didn't know anything other than that is their friend. It is amazing how racism, which again, I will say that all the way to the bank, racism is not a disease. I'm not going with that. And anyone that's watching this, we're not going with that. We're not going to give excuses. No, racism is not a disease. It is a learned behavior. Interesting, everyone. And then we're going to wrap it up. I was just looking at what I do. I usually take the time in the evening to watch different videos, right? Because I want to get well informed. I want to get re-educated on some things. I used to love history. I used to absolutely love history. Who love history? You know, or who's the history major out there that's watching? Talk back to me. Who likes history? I used to love history until I went to college. I was great in high school. I was great in junior high school. I was great in elementary school. Shoot, I was racking up the awards, and you know, I was always known for something. I think I was valedictorian in one of them, either elementary school, junior high school, one of them. And then when I got to college, I had the nerve to try to take American History Civilization 504 because what I was trying to do, I started late in college, and I was like, look, I want to graduate with all of my high school friends. You know, they were a year ahead of me, and I wanted to catch up, and I wanted to graduate the same year that they did. Tell you the truth, I'm so ambitious though. Now I failed that class. I was failing that class. I thought I knew history until I took that daggone American History Civilization 504, not 101. Oh, I thought that was big bad. I said, oh, I want to take the 504 class. And I was failing that class so bad that my teacher told me that, you know what? I can escape with a D. You better get out of this class. She's like, get out of this class. I can, you know, get a D in the class. I don't want you to get an F in this class. So I had to change midstream. That was so hurtful. I had to work hard those next 3 years. By the way, I graduated ahead of everybody else. I got there late, a year late, and I graduated before them because I was not playing. But my point is, not to toot my own horn, but yes, to toot my own horn. It was amazing that in learning now the things from these videos, just reading about the history, it's amazing how history can always, as we all know this pretty much, how it can be false in these books. And I was looking at this one video that was talking about the Daughters of the Confederacy, how in, I don't know, from the early 1900s to 1954 and maybe right to 1970 something, how they were trying to rewrite history in the books concerning the North and the South. And it was really talking about more about the monuments and how they came about for the South, and how today we're like, we want to take them down. I was reading stories how in Virginia, there, uh, I think it was the General Lee statue, whoever the descendants are, they're putting a lawsuit out there. They're trying to keep the governor from removing the statue of General Lee. And so it's this big thing going on. And there was like, look, based on the deed, it said that it's not to be touched and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't want it. Here, you can put it in your yard. Between the five of you descendants, y'all can decide when you wants to move it. Who wants to have it what day or what day of the week. We don't want it. So if you want it, that's fine. Take it. You don't have to worry about it being defaced anymore. You don't have to worry about criminalizing it or whatever. Take it. It's yours. It doesn't have to be where it is today. What do y'all think? Damon, hey, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Denise said, positive repetition. It's the truth. Thank you for bringing me back to focus, Denise. So I love history until I went to college. And now I'm learning history now from these videos, because it's amazing how we can take a narrative and turn it into the way that we want everyone else to learn. It is amazing. That's why many people, not to excuse it though, because they can make a decision nevertheless, but how they were taught in the South about, oh, this is our heritage. This is helping us to know about what really happened between the North and the South, but not even realizing that they had the nerve to rewrite history in those history books in the South, because they were feeling some type of way about how they lost, and how the argument now is about, well, it really wasn't about slavery. Yes, it was. We're going to use semantics. We're going to play with words, based on how it's written. But we all know it was really about slavery, and they didn't want to lose their money, because they didn't take the time to learn how to be industrious for themselves. So all that to say, bringing it back to focus, I'm going to take the note from what Denise said to bring me back to focus. We need to now learn our own history. I want to shout out to my favorite teacher in the whole wide world, Mr. Paris, T.M. Pierce, 6th grade teacher. He was the principal actually after that. And he invited me. I was also the speaker. I was a valedictory at T.M. Pierce. And I came back some X amount of years later to now speak to that graduating class, the 6th grade class that was moving on up to their high school, middle school, now it's called. And he taught us in 6th grade. He was like, look, this is called his story. Don't y'all forget it. I'm going to teach y'all some real history. He cracked out some African-American books, and teaching us about our story. And I tell you the truth, who had or have that type of teacher in your life to teach y'all or teach us about real history and to know what's really going down? That's why, as I always encourage you, if you want to be in a place to please encourage yourself, but not just that, give yourself credit that you are here showing up. We're working together. We're collaborating. We're having a conversation, a dialogue. Please do not compare yourself to everyone else, and the fact that someone's doing something different from what you're doing. Or if you feel like you don't have a voice, or you're introverted, or you're just shy, like my mom used to be. If you are like, look, I'll tell you the truth. My mom was very, 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 very shy, extremely shy, very quiet. But let me tell you, when it came down to justice and fairness, because, I know we're not supposed to be into signs and everything, but she's a Libra. She, her birthday was in October. And she was always about fairness and justice. So she was one of those people who, back in Philly, when there was inequality, when it came down to, I think, living arrangements or however it was for African Americans in the 70s and 80s, she was with these organizations, and she was kicking down doors, and she was speaking her mind when it came down to justice and fairness. And that's what I'm talking about. Where y'all think I get it from? I abhor injustice and unfairness. I cannot stand that. Every day, all day is about fairness and equality in my book. And using this platform to now speak my voice to empower you that you too can do the same. Meaning, you may not do what I'm doing. You may not do what Rachel's doing. You may not do what Denise is doing, but you do what you're doing. You're showing up. You're learning history even more. You're taking the time to really digest what you can within reason, within bite sizes. If it's becoming too much and you're getting over, you're consuming too much and it's impacting your day to day, slow it down. You're not missing out. Get rid of that automatic old thought. You're not missing out on anything. You're not losing out on anything. You're going to always be in the know. So that's a lie. You have to now challenge that lie, try and prove it, as I would tell my clients to do. Challenge those thoughts. If those thoughts are not getting you to where you want to be, or it's not serving you the way that you would like it to serve you, then change the thought. How do you do that? Create new ones. You do that by now putting yourself in positivity. You now look at, motivational talks and videos. I will share one of my mentors who is not even here with us. I love Jim Rohn. Y'all can look him up. He's very powerful, crazy. He was talking about something back in 1981, and it's still relevant for today. So that's one juicy nugget to leave with you, in terms of how do you become so motivated and so powerful, and how do you now make change? When you change, everything around you changes. When you make the decision to change. So I would encourage you to do the motivational videos, such as looking up Jim Rohn. That's one powerful person that you can listen to. And it will go from there. You'll find yourself looking at other motivational videos and podcasts. So getting yourself in positivity will really go a long way for you. That will help you to reject and to replace the negative thoughts that you have been conditioned to believe, and to allow it to control your day to day. When you replace it, then you will find yourself doing and shifting your perspective and attracting and drawing towards things that are positive, that's going to be favorable for you. All right, so I hope this was helpful. If you found value in this video, this is how the whole time we're talking about how to advancing in adversity, how to still maintain, how to manage, how to still advance even in the midst of calamity, in the noise, in the chaos, in the confusion. Look at the replay. If you're just joining, please check out the replay. But most importantly, if you found value, please share this video. That's another thing that you can do to help others as well. If you find yourself that you're not able to do the things that you would like to do, one thing you can do is share. Share this out, because you never know. You may just save a life in the process. So I just thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Devon, we're going to debate another time, okay, offline. He said that, he thinks the statue should stay up. So we're going to take that offline, okay? So I can really then be able to be colorful and really share with you. I love a debate, brother. So I will be on your page. We're going to talk about that one. Marcel, hey, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Stephen, thank you for tuning in. Denise said, yes, we have to show up and learn at our own speed. I had to learn that the hard way, and it's all good. Denise also shared a tip with us as well. Les Brown, yes. Oh, my God, I love what Les Brown said in one of his videos. He said, you know what? We are a masterpiece because we are a piece of the master. That right there. We are masterpieces because we are a piece of the master. So by that, that's a mic drop. You are a piece of the master. You're not doing this alone. You're not by yourself. You're not alone. Whatever those thoughts are telling you, challenge it. Try it and prove it. Of course, because they may have been like ingrained in you repetitiously, just like how people who have been born into racism, or, have learned racism because of what they've been taught, what they have learned, because it's been ingrained in them, in the history books and everything, to supplement and to justify it. When you're not aware and you don't know, you don't know. But there's too much out there for us to now cannot use that as an excuse to say that we do not know. We do know now. Now it's just a matter of making the decision and deciding how we want to show up in this world. Because let me tell you, it really is coming to an end with a lot of things. What we never thought could end is starting to show that it is going to end. And when something ends, a new beginning does happen. So, y'all, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Again, please share out this video. Much love to you all. And I look forward to talking with you again next time. This is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley. Have a great, great day on purpose.